Hello, my name is Michael Boone, and this is my pitch for Adaption War. To start, let me ask you, what if there was a grid tactic game in which you have no control over the initial setup of the game? Adaption War is a 2D grid tactic game with a theme of medieval non-fantasy combat, such as like with the Crusades. In this game, the player will control various units that have the capability of doing several different things, one of which being movement. The player will have a set amount of spaces that they are allowed to move, given the class that they are currently controlling. The player will also be able to capture and use various bases throughout the levels. There will be various different types of bases as well, such as villages, forts, and castles, taking longer depending on what type of base it is. The player will also be able to summon various new units onto the field using these bases, and the training time for these new characters will take less time from castle, forts, and villages taking the longest. The player will also have the option to attack enemies if they're within range of their class's attacking spaces. They simply select the person they want to attack, and they attack them. However, if the enemy does not die from being attacked, they will counterattack the player as well. This game will also utilize two separate weapon triangle systems, given advantages and disadvantages depending on what type of weapon character you're fighting. Those that use axes, swords, and spears will generally have light, heavy, and cavalry soldiers. Light soldiers having high accuracy, evasion, and speed, while having low hit points, attack, and defense, and the heavy having the opposite of the lights. The cavalries will be relatively balanced, but can move the farthest amongst them. As per the ones in the second weapon triangle, those that use bows can only attack on spaces 2 and 3 from themselves. They cannot attack or defend themselves adjacently, so you must be mindful of that. Those with crossbows can attack 1 and 2 spaces away from themselves, so you can attack without being countered if you're only fighting a melee person. Those that use daggers, however, are a little bit different, as they only come in two light types of units. One being assassins, who are your key base takers, as they take the bases in half the time as it would any other unit, and the alchemist, of whom is like your support character, who can heal and set traps around the level itself. The game's rules are generally either defeat the boss, root the enemy, or capture the flag or their main base in each level. You also won't be able to actually control what you have initially on the field, as they will be randomly generated on each level. You can look and view what you have to deal with, but you generally have to adapt on what you're given within this game. This game is similar to games such as Advance Wars, which this combat system is very similar to, as well as Fire Emblem, which the units are more similar to. The main risk in developing this kind of game would be the quality of the bounds is very important, as per the levels and the units themselves, as well as there may be some bugs with the random unit generator for when you initially start each level. All of this balancing may become quite time-consuming as well. Thank you for watching, and again, this has been Michael Boone with my pitch for Adaption War.